Yes, Puppy Thieves double. Something I didn't really think we'd see or had to say until we got to Empire later today, because we were talking about that before too. Really cool to see they're bringing double power in here, which means all this utility is really there to open up space and make sure they can get it, but it also allows for double pump fakes, really getting in the head of SwimTrek once they're on the attack side. So is it as good on defense, right? You're usually wanting to use all that for aggression. You don't know where they are until they take your site. So we'll have to see SwimTrek being aggressive, like you said, with that single duelist. But Charad's chamber, I feel like there's so much damage to be done there. It'll be something we're watching throughout this match.
I'm sad we don't get to see Sandclaws as well in that chamber here, but they have played Vice a couple times.
Yeah, that would be a great matchup.
And they are really stable. Again, they're more mid-pack than top of the leaderboard on this agent in particular, but it's interesting to see because I feel like it's usually a Neon counter as well, right? In SwimTrek Blue, they don't really have a dedicated Neon, actually, right? They've been leaning into the Phoenix, they've been leaning into the Raze a lot. They don't need the running gun down with a shotgun because they will just shoot you long range anyways with the aimers on this squad. So with them starting out in the attack, I do think, like you mentioned, it's going to be a major test for Puppy Thieves with the double duelist, with, again, only the Vice, instead of like a KJ Viper or something like that, especially without the Viper. How many is enough for Puppy Thieves to get, do you think, on this half?
On defensive side?
Yeah.
I say 4 or 5 would be a good battle. A 6-6 would be fantastic. To go on the attack side with a double duelist 6-6, I think is enough. You get pistol, and you can kind of run the show with how you want to bring SwimTrek around the map. They have to respond to what feels like an aggressive hit, and if they don't, that's going to be some crazy mental gymnastics calling that they stay strong on, because it's hard to not buy a fake from a relay bolt coming through in a fast lane, and then you have the Neon actually sell it while the Raze is getting ready with everybody else to hit the other side, or even vice versa on the duelist you're using, so you can make it look different each time.
And I will say for SwimTrek Blue and how we typically see this Chamber Viper run, it's usually like a double lurk setup on the attack. I'm wondering if they're going to lean into that, if they are just going to simplify behind the firepower this squad has. And even then, I'm usually against, I feel like, a lurking IGL, but I feel like this map in particular fits it really well, because if Corrupt sees nothing, calms that there's no util investment A side, they can then rally the troops and be like, hey, we're ending here, get over here. And I think that is a great pairing, as long as they're not getting picked off too early. And if Puppy Thieves aren't giving them that sort of information, or how their defaults look are a perfect counter, it could be a great way to kick things off.
I think it's a great point. It makes a lot of sense, especially from the way we saw Swim playing last week, when there would be situations where FlyQuest would be right behind them. They would have the timing on the map. They'd know if they were taking too long. They know the positions they could be in. So, yeah, Corrupt being over there, being able to make those calls is something they can easily use as a window to get an advantage in this. We are on the map. We are ready for some WOOF to swim. Is that a thing? Yeah.
Doggy paddle. They're going to doggy paddle, I believe. But alrighty, a good call from SwimTrek Blue. Lean towards C. Double duelist. You expect to fight A, and Sharad. Yeah, you're not going to find too much against that brunt of utility.
Nope. Out of there. And double. It says double initiator out. Not real initiator, is a Boomba, but they're just like, yep, keep clearing. More clear. They set up 2, pushed up for WOOF here, and they're quickly moving across the map to see if they need to help St. Claus over on C, but it seems like they've slowed it down. Set up a little defensive line as well across the sites.
Yeah, I feel like the Neon Fade wanted to set up a little revolving door trap, but just hitting it without rotating kind of stalled that out, but hasn't stopped it. In the meantime, they are looking to end C here.
Play their life. Nicely done by St. Claus. Gets out. So how do they retake now? They're actually pinching with a nade through and a relay bolt. This could be really disgusting if they get these perfect. Do they have that util? They don't have the nade. And they don't have a relay bolt. No, and the shots are already coming from Swim. They know they need to push. They know they need to peek through these smokes, reset the smoke, and they're going to double peek through it at Waterfall, but the kills are still coming through at spawn. Glow Stick takes 1. Sharad gets 3 over there on the Headhunter. Refund that money right away, and Swim get a flawless first round.
And I like the slow pacing behind it, right? What set them up into a pretty uncontested C site. Despite that, the proactivity from Puppy Thieves should have let them have a super cohesive retake there, but that's when the individuals on SwimTrek Blue start to shine, right? Sharad solo able to shut down 2 Waterfall before the Halls players can truly regroup. You saw the Raze trying to get to Terra's side, and they get picked off Halls. So that's something we're going to have to see Puppy Thieves expecting, is this forward fighting tendency in the post out of SwimTrek Blue. But for now, no changes. It's just, all right, Eco, see if we can find one of these openers. Sharad.
Hello. double, triple. No, oh my God. How did Sherrod get out? Everybody just chose to not peek the extra part of the rock. Okay. I was going to say, there's so many members there. They had to get something out of it, and they do. Coming back with that death ball to head back to C, and we might get a bit of a repeat of the first round on this hit.
Yeah, I like St. Claus just kind of respecting the take. Again, we mentioned it's more for the Neon than the Rays, so they're just going to disrespect it anyways.
Yeah. They're much closer this time. Time to explode onto the site. They're not even going to really let the spike go down, and already the kills are coming through, but the follow-up is there from the side of Swim Trek. That's a second round. Nice job by the sub coming through. That's Venture doing some with the Bulldog on the Omen play for the game. So we'll keep track of that as well.
Yeah, you saw them hold that paranoia super late. Again, they're confident in Bob to make that space C-side, and it was perfectly timed out of, again, you mentioned that early grouping waterfall, that early push out, and then little target switch action showing like they haven't any dust to dust off in the server in terms of the aim department after being out for a while. But yeah, looking right back into the swing of things here, and ooh, we went from, okay, just Sherrod conditioning that I'm solo A to the entire team minus his Rays looking for a fight.
C's nade? No C's? Just C's nade.
Late C's.
Peak still comes through. Yeah, late is scary, and Zoriental there getting a good follow-up, and this should be a bonus round they clap back on. Just no respect to that A position again, and that's exactly the way the Puppy Thieves needs to play. Here's a nice lurk around, or I should say flank from Terror.
Did that wall get tripped?
Should be able to play
yes.
this slow.
Okay.
I heard it. Yeah, I thought I heard it as soon as we popped away.
I do like them not overcomplicating going searching for Bob, though. And I feel like I like the hero rifle in Bob's hands, but maybe if she was there to help them fight then for that main space, it would have gone a little differently. Because I fully believe if it's 5 rifles versus 5 rifles, Swim Trek can win the A main space, but was not going to happen this round or in that fashion. And Bob now... I do feel like coming from C long is the least likely of the angles, so she could maybe hope for a back turn or two, but with time ticking away, you see St. Claus recognition like, okay, they're not here by now, they're never going to be.
I see the Rose soon and know that somebody's at least near this area to get that fight on. It's the partial. If I don't find anybody, I save, but I'm really looking for somebody. And there's one. Rose goes off. Yeah, catches that right in the eye.
20 seconds left. Yep, it feels like the save is imminent. It's like you also want to try to do damage since this is the bonus, but you're more worried, I think, about the long term here. So,
see what the new tech would be was jump peek out to a blast pack that puts you back behind the wall.
See how many you'd be staring down. See if there's 1v1 you can take pretty fairly.
Yeah. Why not? Or even take a shot before you get blast packed back, and that would just be insane. But you're probably going down. They were all so ready on the mouse one to take that shot. So there is the bonus taken away. Swim will not get it, and this could be the momentum now that Puppy Thieves need. Glowstick has upgraded the Ares to the Odin. Let's see if that helps as they get to these sites. It looks like they're going to start conditioning C again in quite a bit.
Yeah, it's instead now corrupt on the day side lurk like we were expecting to see more so. Little info stall, see if they're crossing over towards wall, but with the Omen, with Scary Shark already deep there, they know this is all a ruse. And now they can position, prepare, ideally St. Claus for this engagement. I like Terror here as well, right? If they've been disrespecting the entry, you pop a little relay bolt there, they're stunned out and maybe even can't get past those thorns.
Wait a minute, shot. Oh, the shoulder was so early. So well played by Terror on that angle. Getting afraid too, realizing it's going to be across the map as a little bit of the action starts. They're trying to creep in every angle that may not be watched, and B was watched. Bob's going to go ahead and capitalize on that, pushing back. Or, I'm sorry, Zoriental rather. As they head into door and make sure there can't be a cheeky switch.
I love this. They have them contained now with the Omen also inside attack or spawn, and they're not taking any fights they don't have to. And when the fights come, they have a high-low ready to go. Great lurk smoke.
Ooh, toesies. Bob says, I can make it. But this is the tough part. The duelist getting in, but the follow-up. There's a little bit of it. It's a trade, though. Scary Shark says not just yet as St. Claus comes up big as well. Venture Left looking right and left, down to 10, limping around, and it's going to be a spam through the box from Scary Shark on the big flank coming through to grab a second round, still keeping 3 alive.
I'm quite surprised that they invest the Nightfall there. I feel like they didn't have a full grasp on the situation map-wise because Corrupt peeled off so early from that A side and went for that B main lurk that gets shut down, and that's where that Nightfall was supposed to be kind of be that final engagement to get them into the C side, and again, you had the Fade rotate over. That was a perfect 3-stack tag team, even with St. Claus at, what was it, 37 HP? And that's the issue, Rivington with Swimtruck Blue. They have the firepower, but do they have the wherewithal to make a decision to find a solution when their default isn't working, right? They're still starting C side, and nothing has changed.
And it looks like Wolf just, or probably I keep doing it, but it just feels like I'm not doing it
says
justice.
woof
Puppy
woof too,
Thieves.
you know?
It does say woof woof. It's so bad. The Puppy Thieves aren't finding their footing, or they are finding their footing rather, and they're able to just read this, sitting back, not afraid of this hit. They're seeing the same thing just about every time, and this time the vines are there to just say an extra no. And yeah, this is quite held. Health comes back up for Terror. Venture looks to get a shot in. Very nicely traded there as they're looking to get a little money in the bank and maybe scratch at the pockets of Woof here, because they're just going to be sitting on cash and trying to make any plays that they want now.
And usually I'm opposed to a really fast rotate like that, but because it's Nico, it makes sense. And secondary, while they're having that really strong rotate to enforce it from 2 to 4 on the C side, you also have that Omen behind saying, okay, I have the information B main, they're not rotating just yet, we can stay with this rotation plan that we have. And that's how thorough this feels. And you talked about how, okay, Swimtruck Blue aren't changing things, but that C side hold is changing ever so slightly around the engagement utility that Swimtruck Blue has, right? That high-low, a little bit further away, outside the peripheral of that paranoia. That's really nice. And also, Swimtruck Blue, I feel like they're not respecting the Vice util. We're not satcheling it, we're not nading it, and that's difficult. But, ooh. Whoa.
Dang. That was big. This smoke that they keep throwing out, Swimtruck wants to try to play through it, hop on the rock, maybe get a peek. By that time, the door's open, people are already out. And the timing, I think, was missed there. I don't think we'll see that happen again. If it does, that's big miss on Swim. And a big gain on Wolf. Zoriental coming up huge there with a third. A fourth going to be just around the corner, and they know it's going to be the Chamber trying to stave off any of this initiator utility. Another dog! And it's Bob finally calms the show down.
Oh, and I don't know if they expect St. Claus here. That's your C player. The off angle's good.
Yeah.
The round's secure. We go raise for raise, blow for blow, but it's St. Claus, the rookie in the server, to close it out and confirm Puppy Thieves' lead. Collect that operator, bring into their own defensive arsenal. And this is where Swimtruck Blue, it's difficult, right? Okay, you cannot win the A main spice right now, unless they fight maybe 5 head-on with the Rays there instead of being one of those flank lurk players. CX looks have fallen flat. They need a solution fast, and they haven't taken a timeout to solve that. So, maybe Bob playing here's the difference. Let's see, Red.
All right. All there. All in. They get themselves actually across smoke. Orb doesn't go up yet, though. They hold it. They're trying to see how much they can get out in util, I think. And they get a little bit.
I like the delay.
That's such a cut. Paranoia to the right side, and it hasn't been committed on this time. The way that Puppy Thieves is committing to this as well has always been different.
Yeah.
The door being open and the pressure created is always there to flex the muscles, but they keep switching it up.
Nora as well. They always have the From the Shadows get out if this Paranoia combo comes through. So a lot of options, and it's so deep it doesn't even connect in the first place.
Nightfall. Ulti kind of misses there. Still a good bit of damage. Bob's able to answer with the Sheriff. They get into position to just make these pistols work. And I'd say already they're doing great. They can pick up a weapon off of this as well, and that's for Bob. Let's go.
Oh yeah, they made the showstopper work, right? You hear that, you're immediately disengaging. But even then, they're ready to reflood this retake if it comes through. They have a Neon Terror on the flank with an overdrive to supersede this operator. Now with the call with Bob through B to rotate, they might get caught out to ahead. Oh, the cape missed. The timing lodged.
Ooh, okay. They still have to realize they have guns, and this should be winnable. There's only one hero rifle now in Bob's hand, so I think they just take this super slow, hip to hip, right? Trade each other if there has to be a trade. It should be winnable.
Waiting for Terra main,
Oh,
it
the
feels like the
delay.
call.
Yeah, she's coming around. They got to get the up on a line first. It feels comfortable because it's going to trigger the wall. Oh,
That's their
there's
own
one.
wall.
That's got to be comfortable.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, it is their own wall. I'm looking at it backwards already since the whole map is flipped, and that's going to be WOOF coming up strong. Zoriantel knew it was their own wall. I was just trying to create intensity in the moment, false intensity. 5-2 for WOOF. Puppy Thieves are looking good.
And that's the difficulty there, Riv, is they're also disregarding the Vice util, right? On the Swim Truck Blue
Yeah.
side. We mentioned how they're not thorough enough on the C clear. They're with that wall setting up. That's what allows Terra not to use any util, just walk up kind of unafraid that anybody could be B main still, because you'd expected them to have triggered it by then. But finally, Swim Truck Blue, we get that timeout. I liked the A fight considering they won it on the eco, but it was also off of the showstopper they're not going to have every time. So I feel like
Yeah.
I think starting A feels like the right call. I liked the delay as well to get at that util that you mentioned. So I think this is more like, okay, what is our set play going to look like to counteract this A side space? And honestly, with Terra still holding on to that operator here and it's starting out stairs, that could be the unaccounted factor, that small change in Puppy Thieves side that still disrupt.
Yeah. I think they expect like even a force cross now, right? They're trying to get that space, so it'd be best to stay back, get a shot through. It's a great call. We'll see if they do move even off the wall. It's a timeout currently, so they might just run up past this and do something silly. We might expect it. Who knows? They've had a variety of round wins. It's not just had to be the post plant. They've been able to just shut these rounds down, and their bonus, the bonus that was supposed to be swims, just went to time there as Bob was timed out towards C. So yeah, I think there's a lot of comfortability on the side of Puppy Thieves right now to just go almost in this round with the up. They switch it to mid. Yeah, see what Swim wants to do after the timeout. Why even force something?
I do like them heading towards C for the start. Again, I mentioned like they're getting mound pretty uncontested. I think once they get out of C, the post point is strong with how they fight hole and water successfully. They just need to be more thorough on this Vice util, and that'll be up to Bob here ideally. Or okay, how did this
There it
timing
is.
work out? A side.
Finally, they know they're gonna open it and get out, but it was that they used the smoke that they've been getting thrown on a TP across this time.
Yeah.
Very nicely played.
They're breaking down the util one step at a time with the slow pacing, which is a great first step into this round because it's immediately going to be weaker when they follow through. But once again, this high-low, unexpected.
Oh my god, it just feels like such a hard angle to take. Everybody feels comfortable there that's set up on it, and now
That's
they have
also
a
the-
high-low.
It's like that's the issue. That's the third time they swung into a high-low like that as an individual, right? If it's two players, different
Yeah.
outcome. Or if you op it off the line, I guess that works too.
Get the shoulder. Ooh, follow-up. There's the follow-up you're talking about, too, as they get it. I mean, going in there, Sherrod was like, don't worry, I can clear the site, right? But you get some teamwork in. Oh, peeking the smoke close. Oh, my God. It's like the barrels are almost touching. Holy moly. No! That was so risky from Terror. To play in that with a smoke drop. Maybe they thought the timing was there from Zoriantel to draw the eyes, but it did not work out. The operator retake is always going to be difficult, and especially right now against Swim. They do well on that one to find a way back in.
Yeah, again, these post ones are not going to be the issue for Swim Track Blue, but I do want to circle back to something we said at the beginning, Riv. We said 4 or 5 was enough for Puppy Thieves, and I didn't even realize that they've already gotten to that benchmark, so they're kind of chilling for the rest of the half already, looking to hopefully widen that gap. But yeah, great follow-up following the pistol and the secondary buy. I like that they're now putting the operator a bit outside of C. That's a great pace change after you finally lost a round as well.
Yeah. Ooh, the orb starts to clear that. Oh my word. That was scary. Like, I felt like it was not going to be possible for a moment there. They get out. Easy stuff. The timeout, though, we have to remember, pays off for Swim, so that was very nicely called and maybe gives them momentum here. Keep pushing forward. A little bit of touch at A, but the way they've been getting C, and I guess we haven't even really seen them try to hold other sites, it's just a comfort for them right now.
Yeah, and look at the reclear B main as well. So once again, with also Omen now, deep wall side, Scary Shark clearing that. They know this is a C exec. Little sheer garden to stop the the nightfall, and while it strips the gun away, won't keep them alive. And now it's a crunch. They feel forced into C.
Oh my gosh.
Player standing.
Everybody just turned up the mouse sensitivity for this round, and the side of Puppy Thieves snap into the headshots of Swim Trek. And there's Scary Shark taking down Glowstick, just trying to get some distance on the map before taking the weapon out again, but it was already circumvented. Puppy Thieves are reading this one so well, and they take it right back after that timeout win.
And there's your 6th round for the side of Puppy Thieves.
That's what we said.
They are rewarding the server for sure, a little woof energy, but I do think what's going wrong for Swim Trek Blue is I really like the default they came up with the Omen Viper fight A main to deny this trio take, but it's the fact that after they give that up, you see Puppy Thieves re-clear it, so they need to stay after they give that space up, at least in lobby, because that's the issue. They just narrow it down to C one step at a time, and I'm not really going to see an exception this round. It's again... okay, I'll lie. The one exception is Charade. Okay. Cross that out.
Now the wall. Into the vines just like last time. Oh, they haven't even activated.
Wait, and now they're gonna go in the corner?
See it. Yeah, that's dirty. Oh no. The mind games are gross. What? Oh my god, what did we just see? St. Claus, that is illegal. Falling, paranoia, headshot.
And that is why I wanted to focus on this rookie again. Moments like that, just disrespecting as well, and just reading the situation so well to not pop the flash, not pop the thorns, but instead just jiggle and walk, clear it to set up a close space angle.
No way.
Wow, and now it's like, okay, maybe you can't even argue for 7-5 because look at the ults and look at the bash economy on the Swim Trek Blue side. It's another Sheriff round, and this time you don't have a Nightfall, you don't have a Showstopper to open it up and at least give you a spike plant like we saw last time around. But needless to say, they're gonna go towards the weakest site. The timing's gonna come to a head. Zoriental, it's the end of the half. They don't care to overinvest. They're going over the wall.
Oh, trying. That was actually a really sick play if they caught the squad there, but disperse here hearing that. They said, no way, we don't need it. Shark catches one in the teeth and gives it right back.
Yeah, does not want to give this gun away. I like the regroup here now alongside Miara as well. Oh, unfortunately cannot complete the great escape. They want this gun. They fight in a blue room. And nice satchel shot.
Double blast pack follow-up. Bob gets the first one. Little mini blast pack again to hopscotch forward. Crossfire into sight. Oh, no. Crossfire is too strong. And now they're going to try to get back into this one. Sidestepping out. Zoriental going for another 3K in this first half. And that's 8-3. They have surmounted the call of 6 rounds. And they are saying, we'll take more.
Wow. I mean, it's like, okay, they've lost the A space because of that engagement with Scary Shark having to get out, but then you look towards C and it's like, okay, they've taken mountain space instead. St. Claus off of that one-way deep, and they're ready then to flip on that B fight as well almost immediately. And that's where I think it's a dangerous one that Swim Trek Blue doesn't know what Puppy Thieves defense look like. They haven't seen Lotus. This is their first rep in the Swiss stage on this map, and they should have known that if they saw the Fade, they saw the that A site was deserted. And they didn't. They end B, they end on the stack. And now, like you mentioned, staring down an 8-4, 9-3, not what you want on an attack side map.
All right. Into position first. And around the Puppy Thieves kind of allowed the position to be taken first to see if it would be aggressed on.
Ooh.
Yeah, Swim is taking every advantage they can for this one.
It's also Puppy Thieves over fighting this time. St. Claus just fighting into a stack after you already know they shut down a player, be main. Like, that trap also didn't work. I feel like they got a touch too proactive this time, and it coincided with Swim Trek Blue not slowing down their execs like they've typically done on some of these defaults. So finally they're going to be executing onto a C site without the Vice in the equation. So I mentioned again, and I think their post plants are their strongest aspect right now on Lotus, so I don't foresee this 2v5 coming true with, I guess, the pit coming down and lack of a paranoia, but Miara, full HP here, to kick things off.
Creeping in. Scary Shark is just hiding to the right side. Glowstick doesn't know the angles there. Ooh, wow. Just tapped on the head real quick. Miara is there, but the rest of Swim is ready for a 4th round to clean that one up. To find a few more in that first half was necessary. So 8-4 is what we get here. And really, with what we've seen from Swim coming out, we expected them to be the ones leading the pace throughout this. And Puppy Thieves have run away with that so far.
Yeah, again, it's always a risk picking into a map another team has not played. And I think we're starting to see detrimental end of that. We hyped up as well, I think, Puppy Thieves, that this double duelist was going to deliver, but I do also feel like it's time for Sherrod to shine here, especially, and I do feel like it's more reactive, so it's like Swimtruck Blue, they don't have to come up with a solution necessarily, because they can just rotate and answer the call with grouped fights, unlike where they have to be initiating that change on that attack side. So we'll have to see if that's the case, but for now it's not a little duelist fight for A main, it's literally just Sherrod, so I'm going to identify that, and I don't expect him to spend any more utility, just contact up here.
Using that rendezvous quick, and you're a much safer spot, not getting cut into baby door, which is cleared up. Vulnerability gone. Oh, Terror with the double peek, gets it up for the second one. Very nicely played. That paranoia makes things a little funky, but it's going to be cleaned up. A double swing here by Puppy Thieves as they now control a little bit deeper on the map and are waiting to get more. Oh, Bob with a great read, but no kill there. It's still actually going on in sight. Bob doesn't stop. Corrupt has to stay alive, but it looks like they're going to get pushed out. This is an interesting round here where it just seems Woof tries to keep moving and Bob tries to keep chasing.
And now it's like scatter, avoid the fight, delay at all costs. A little nade comes out to deny any retrade. The wall goes up as well to narrow the chances, and it is a little dicey here. It is one player per angle, so you see the Rays regroup instead on a cross, and it'll be St. Claus for contact.
One for Bob.
Bomb buddy out.
Oh, all the util to clear. Oh, trying to get one to kind of drop over the wall there, thinking there's obviously a secondary to help. The damage is incredible. The damage is ridiculous. Wait a minute, through the wall. Oh, Zoriental almost gets kneecapped by Bob, and enough time to get the defuse, but there is not a tactical dance there to show excitement, and Puppy Thieves are going to be able to get that round.
Ooh, yeah, I feel like Swimtruck Blue did a good job, I think, just unearthing the massive rotations we were seeing out of Puppy Thieves, but yeah, they just lost too many along the way because they were always fighting into numbers, and that little pause after they won a main space as well from Puppy Thieves was really smart to evaluate their chances and see what the two-stack that regrouped into B main was going to find on B before fully committing to that rotate, like what we saw from Swimtruck Blue on their attack B rotates, but... All right, this time around, you've got to get an answer here. There's a 4-stack, making 5 on A.
This is the old Inferno play. Show one, everyone is behind. And now they know the door's open. Then the rest of them are peeking, jumping over the wall. Scary Shark says, nah, that's good enough for me. That's too much.
Laura's like, I know this play. I've done this play. And so they're gone. They know C's free for the taking. A question now is how far do they go with the weapons advantage? Or do they sit back on the long sight lines? And seems like the latter when you've got two Guardians in the mix, and that's a fair call. Still have the sniper rifle holding the flank as well once they actually finally get through this Vice wall, but I feel like they're taking a lot of time. This may be a die to the spike angle, play exit angle at this point.
Yeah. And now go B.
Talk about it. They have fun. They play a little silly.
Ooh, left side smoke, so they can at least tuck. They make it past. Get in the smoke and just blow up with the spike. Uh-oh. Hunting.
Oh, no.
Poor
Corrupt.
We'll find some. Whoa. Oh, needed one in the chamber. Glowstick's going to be able to finalize it. And the team gets out 10-4 now. A big gap for Swimtruck to start coming back on as we get into this bonus. It's going to be crucial.
Their pick as well, which is what makes it particularly draining. And I will say a silver lining in how that round concluded is you feed the kills, the orbs to the Omen, not a Fade, not a Neat. Like, literally any other player would have an impactful ultimate at the surface level. And Nora here can continue with that sniper rifle tactic. It's so weird to see your Omen as your A-side lurk, but you look at them in the composition and you're like, the Vice is playing more, again, like group for that flash. Since you don't have flashes anywhere else, it's... Ooh. Okay, conditioning succeeds. Chamber C-side instead of A this time around.
Just walked right out and grabbed that one for themselves. Zooming in. Okay, human sentry to 1 HP. Oh my gosh, that's so scary for Wolf. Terror there. Sherrod just cleans the site up. Saw the entrance, knew what the exit for everybody had to be. Goes down in the end, but Glowstick's able to get one. that is exactly the kind of round they needed for the momentum that needs to kind of kick in and just start the fire. Swim Trek. Watch.
And it's exactly that win condition that we expected once the side swap. You see it, they play reactive, they stay grouped, and they just kind of they give into the push and pull from the side of Puppy Thieves and shot that reactivity after taking that C space, then immediately pop the revolving door alongside Corrupt and sandwich those players. That is something that we're going to see Puppy Thieves sound like they down the pistol, pause and reevaluate before they get caught off guard. And ooh, Swim Trek Blue. Heavy A retake setup here with just a venture here left to anchor the space.
Out. Paranoia. The thing is, they're still going in together. Even if they're Paranoia to bodies, they're distractions. People are a distraction. The team, the Neon is a distraction. 1 HP now. Coming in for Zoriental. The trades, maybe. There's one for Bob. Gets stuck in the corner, though. This is going to be tough. Still finds another one with 2 aimed at the corner.
Now, Gerard creeping up on the flank. It'll be St. Claus to dictate the rest of this round.
Big.
Whiffed. Yeah, that's now a 2v3 with very low HP on Terror. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Just using that back area to harvest Swim members. They get the smokes up. They can play a little cheeky in sight with that and just stick to one side, hoping that they will buy this. No, they didn't.
Last player standing.
Oh, kill cam reveals probably both. Yeah. Oh, that timing.
Oh. Still work. The smoke actually gives them the option to work with in sight there instead of causing them to delay. A round now for Swim. They need it very much, and they'll keep 2 together on that one and see if they can string some more, because Tour de Force is up. They could get a drop if needed. Boom, right there. 2 glow stick, and we're off to the races.
That would be great for sure. Double ult looking strong here as well to keep the money flowing versus it's a full reset on the Puppy Thieves side. I do feel like I'm starting to dislike what I was praising them for in terms of the slowdowns and pivotal moments. Like, they paused in tree, right? And that did allow both the Fade and the Raze to be in position to dump that C's nade combo that obliterated that exec, right? Versus if they do turn the dial up a little bit more, like look like the 10-6 team right now, it could overwhelm, and the eco lends itself to that quite well on the C mount fight. Just pedal to the metal, see what happens.
Yeah.
Have an overdrive too.
Oh, still peeking the smoke. It's not stopping Sherrod. They have an answer. They had somebody shoot the Prowler previously. He steps in. It was even a one-way-ish. Still made it out. Okay, it wasn't. It was touching the floor. I didn't think it was. I was wrong. It wasn't a one-way. That was just amazing by Sherrod to instantly disappear from the screen from what they would see and get back out. Like, holy moly.
Yeah, I will say Sherrod had a slower start, but now he's singing. Yeah, has a choir backing them up for sure. That's where you do have to identify, I think, with that Fade kit where this player is, and that's where you mentioned the efficacy of having a pairing instead of Sherrod solo has worked in denying those Prowlers, that haunts, and
so good.
It does feel like right now part of the solution is see Sherrod, avoid Sherrod, for sure. And now, I mean, oh, okay. I don't see, I was going to say, a big opera to counter, so I'm glad they got rid of that on the Puppy Thieves side. Meantime, it was defaulted look we've seen from Puppy Thieves so far. Double lurk. The double duelist comes in with a Raze now A side solo.
Let's see if Sherrod is here again. Took a bit too, because they got one way. They were going to double peek from either side to see if they get the fight, and then they had this fast lane.
Good info.
From the shadows to the right, very good info, especially if they saw Sherrod.
I don't think they did. I think they just saw the Omen.
Oh. Still good enough. You're getting an idea of how they're going to play it, which means this side's a little bit stronger with the Omen more anchoring.
You would have thought you'd seen Sherrod already. Sherrod would see you would have seen Sherrod already, basically.
Behind you or in front of you.
Nightfall goes in, the full execution to follow. A bit weaker though because the Neon's not there and because there's not been resiliency B main. That's where they are going to end on the pivot. Paranoia in the blue room sees to disconnect these players, but Relay Bolt to appease. It's great 1-for-1 util trades, and they're just gonna hold their own, wait for their showstopper to initiate, and it doesn't find anything, Rivington.
Nope. Wolf's just gonna bite back on this one. Swung glow stick! Corrupt and glow stick from both sides. I thought they were gonna win Baby Room and just be able to turn back for the fight, but not the case. Insta kills coming out from Swim Trek Blue.
And that's a chaotic B-side round that probably deserves another look at it just because of how close it was. I mean, I think that speaks to, again, how Swimtruck Blue do rotate really fast off of contact, and they're not really waiting until these, it feels like, deep players have already broken the trademark, have already gotten in. And that's a difficulty here. I do think they were at the cusp of Season B, hence the replication towards Pillar on the Eco. No showstopper this time either, to try and re-clear the site effective immediately, I guess. Trying to draw out these rotates, it looks like, right? They're wary that, okay, we've made a lot of noise, B-main, someone should be behind us, but no dice. Fast light in. Ooh, not a knifeful on the Eco Riv.
Yeah. Getting 2 tethers on that, so they know most have made it into sight. The commitment's already there.
Clip the wall.
It went into the side. It looked like shot it out of the air for a second. Ooh, hit the wall. Corrupt Bob. Corrupt back and forth. And a Viper's bite in there somewhere. Sherrod ends this one. And an ew indeed. That was a round. Swimtrek said, we'll just take that. Thank you so much. B is closed.
And we have duo ace. What's it when it's a trio? What's the equivalent of that? Because that's the core, right, from Rose that completely overwhelms that round. Just corrupt anchoring waterfall of all places was crazy to keep them in that uncomfortable position, that close space on B. You like them finally leaning away, but we are 1 round away from separating these two. This would have been a great time for Puppy Thieves, I think, to extend that first timeout.
Yes.
Lose this, it's Eco. It's suddenly 11-10, you're down, and the ults continue to come for the side of Swimtruck Blue. Pit down. Forcing them into this A fight where Venture's actually found the opener this time.
And that was just kind of a step and peek. They heard Terror take the position. Venture was so ready for it. It seems like they're not getting what would be really nice double pumps out of these, or pump fakes, even if it's a single one with the double duelist. You know, usually you can do that with double initiator, but your duelist can sell it, I think, just as much too here.
Yeah.
They're not getting into position the way they want. A few too many dry peaks, or considering it's safe space when it's just not a peak.
And I mentioned this last time, right? This pause allows the rotates to come through true for Swimtruck Blue, and then when they don't invest ults, they usually don't get the space, but the refi here burns Swimtruck Blue, opens up the entire A site, and suddenly they're the ones with numbers. Sherrod, Flank Brewing, past that Vice wall. They know that one is there. Corrupt trying to play off the timing, knows they're down numbers, and even the Thorns are going to prevent that.
Oh, the timing tell.
1 enemy remaining.
Easily cleaned up. What a switch of the round. From Nora. Oh my gosh. Another one seized up and knows that the peak is a disadvantage if they allow it to happen. So Nora swings on 2 and clears. Under seize, that's crazy. That is a very heady play and requires the mechanics that Nora showed easily.
Oh, 100%. And that's where I feel like that's the first time we've seen Swimtruck fight out to claim that additional space when they could just anchor it the old-fashioned way, right? Previously, we'd see, okay, the C's, the Nays, the showstopper on the choke once they're actually executing through it. Here, they went on the proactive line fighting to re-clear into tree, and that's when Scary Shark Nora is able to respond. And we were otherwise highlighting that Puppy Thieves weren't going to have a way into that site, it felt like, unless they pull out the Steel Garden, for example. But Udron goes their way. Bob. Oh, 1 for 1. Still have to get past the Viper, though, and they are respectful of that enough. And now they can assume maybe a rotate comes through from the shadows. And I don't know about trying to strong-hand your way into the site, but they're going for it anyways.
Arsenal as well. Vulnerable DK. Everybody buffed and debuffed here. But the teammates are the buff that they need to get in. Nora taking space, backing up a little bit. It's a lot. Knowing there's one waterfall. Still swinging towards spawn. The trades come through very fast, but actually leave Sherrod alone at spawn now. The operator retake, and the timing is still there. St. Claus, the positioning, the movement, constantly staying active has continuously caught Swimtrek off guard.
Ooh, now 1 round away from sealing away Swimtruck Blue's map pick here on Lotus. Their first rep looking so well-rounded. Would take 3 to get to overtime. At least when you've had those 5 rounds in a row, you're going to have a little bit of the padded pocketbooks for the time being. And if you lose, you're out anyway. So you're just going to keep buying until it's loser OT. And, I don't know, that round, I mean, It really, I don't even know what went wrong in there, because I think they had to respect the Steel Garden. Hard to call, and we don't have time to delve into it because it's another C fight. They're trying to replicate the success they found in prior. Again, if they can handle Sherrod, then C becomes incrementally weaker. They're gonna respect it.
Out of charges.
So you can almost assume that the Viper was there, but you saw the C's over and you saw Chamber, so they're going.
They picked up on how fast the rotates are, I think, from Swimtruck Blue, and they're praying into it.
Ooh.
Point blank, venture the example.
Trying to get back in. Bob knows this is a very necessary round and already about to get back. Oh, they go. Ships in the night for a moment, but crash right into each other right after.
Not ready yet.
And all their stairs. Are they going to separate the power here? It looks like they might send Glowstick up towards heaven, but they got to time this. They got to re-clear just about everything, and that's not even to get into sight. They don't have another Prowler. This is all going to have to be off where they're aiming.
Snakebite's the only tool that could split up these players, and that's where they look the strongest.
Oh, Haunt kind of buys them a little bit of time. That timing they were waiting for works out so well in Swim. Look to stay alive, 30 HP on Terror. That's a shot from Sherrod. Another one to ring true. And it looked like they were out of util, empty in the tank. I just didn't have the timing on that Haunt. Glowstick did.
Yeah. And they just played that out perfectly. Glowstick not taking the dive. They're off of ropes, just waiting for Sherrod to scale after finding the 2 kills that they did. It's like, you've got to learn your lesson, guys. You cannot fight into Sherrod close or long range. They're one of the players in GC that can retake with an operator, right? It's like usually a hindrance for most, not them. And Tour de Force Online is only going to solidify that fact. Double Up even comes out, handing it off to Bob here. So, let's see if that can shut down this A-take. I feel like they have gotten Rebel space pretty much round after round, unlike when we saw Swimtruck Blue try to contest it in the last half.
We thought that Wolf, I keep saying Wolf, Puppy Thieves would have the field day once they got on attack with the double duelist. And they may have just got their tickets to the fair, actually. Get one opening kill. It didn't stop Swim last time from evening the map up. They did lose the first one, but they were able to trade right away. We're only seeing them be pushed back, playing their lives. There's the trade from Glowstick. They do even it up, and Sherrod's already creeping around.
Oh, Judge, though, playing on the close box in heaven, a different style post-plant setup. But even the Fade util isn't going to connect on Nightfall as well. I like that Terror doesn't fly too close to the sun, doesn't engage off of it, and they expected it. That's why the Prowler comes out from Glowstick, and honestly, at this point, it feels like Swimtruck's starting to run out of time.
Oh, Terror knew. Paranoia or not from that position, you're safe. Ooh, cleans it up on the final one. Just needed to calibrate a few. Yep, it's all right. We get there. Mags reloaded. Guns are ready. Gonna push out and try and stop it here. Venture gets one. Holy moly, this is a tall one. It looks like it's gonna be cleaned up by Puppy Thieves. There it is. A great attempt coming in from Swimtruck there to even it up, but it was too much in Puppy Thieves' first half. Able to get those rounds and close it out for the second on the pick of their opponents for Lotus.